right, folks, we have a bunch of Switch 2 news to get into, dealing with the games, dealing with pre-orders, dealing with a bunch of stuff, really. Good news and some interesting news and maybe some not so good news. You know, this is what happens when we have so much to cover for Switch 2 in a single video. And one thing I just want to get out there is I really hope that all of you that wanted to get pre-orders were able to find success, whether online or in person at GameStop. Obviously, worldwide, I hope everyone had success as well. I know pre-orders are currently sold out. However, you know, there's this thing where Walmart is doing pre-orders by region, so I just want to throw a tip out there. You can kind of mess around with the zip code and maybe potentially find some pre-orders, some scant ones still out there. Maybe there's a couple of GameStops today that might have a couple or so in-person pre-orders left, but there's going to be more pre-order waves. So if you want to get a chance to get into those future pre-order waves, all you got to do is go follow Jake Randall on YouTube and X/Twitter. That is just the best thing to do. He helped me and so many others get some. In fact, I got 6. I was about to say 4, but I got 4 online Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders, thanks to Jake Randall. And then we got the 2 in-person ones. 2 in-person ones are for me and Eric, co-host of the podcast. The other 4 we got online, I didn't know what to do with them because we were only going to give away 2 originally. We're not going to give away 4. And that reminds me that we are giving away currently 1 Nintendo Switch 2 down in the pinned comment or the description. But because we have all these extra pre-orders, we're going to end that giveaway at some point next week. We'll announce the winner after we get a hold of them. And then we're going to go ahead and, well, launch another giveaway to give away 2 more Nintendo Switch 2s. So the one that we're giving away right now down in the link in the pinned comment in the description, that one is going to be a non-bundle one, just a normal Nintendo Switch 2. And then the 2 we're going to give away in the next giveaway when that begins is going to be the bundle ones. And then we're going to give away 1 more Mario Kart World bundle one on a live stream towards the end of May. So I hope you guys are excited for that. I'm trying my best to give back and say, screw the scalpers. Let's actually get these in the hands of real consumers, whether you're someone who can't afford a Switch 2, whether you're someone who just unfortunately couldn't get a pre-order, or maybe you did get one and you want to get one for your fiance, you want to get one for your significant other, you want to get one for your kids or parents or friends or whatever. Hey, why not? Why not give it back to you free of charge? So go ahead and enter the giveaway for just 1, and then at some point next week, we'll begin a new giveaway for 2 more. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the news. First, it begins, and this, I hate when we got to begin this way, but there was some misinformation flying out there that all Nintendo Switch 2 third-party games are just game key cards. And it's based on something that's real, but it's being spread as if it's something that is just a fact worldwide, and that is not the case. And I'm not blaming this specific outlet for this story, but people talking about it, not doing their homework and not doing basic research. Obviously, we know Cyberpunk 2077 is available physically. The entire thing is on cart. I just actually pre-ordered mine today. It would be awesome if you guys go ahead and support that as well. But let's get to the headline. So this is over at Video Game Chronicle, although this headline's been everywhere. Every physical third-party Switch 2 game seen in Japan so far is a game key card requiring a download. And you can kind of go over all this, but this is really the screenshot that matters. You can see even things like the Daemon Ex Machina Titanic. This is not a launch game, but that is a game key card. You can see the white thing down there for the game key card. We could see other things, obviously Bravely Default. We know that is a game key card here in the US as well. Seeing Rune Factory as well. So it's showing that every single third-party game in Japan is game key cards. And this led to a lot of headlines and a lot of chatter online where people are like, well, hey, it looks like physical games are dead on Nintendo Switch 2 besides for Nintendo first party. This is Nintendo's fault. How could they do it? Well, for starters, it's never Nintendo's fault for what third parties decide to do. That being said, it's also not real. Even though it's real, like it's true. Japan, so far, every third-party game in Japan has game key cards. We live in the United States, so how does that apply here? Just like the 90 euro thing does not mean $90 US games, every game in Japan being a game key card from third parties doesn't mean every game here is game key cards. Setting aside Cyberpunk, let's go ahead and look at this picture here from Nintendo. Switch 2 physical releases that are up for pre-order and are confirmed to not be game key cards. So obviously we can ignore the Nintendo games. None of those were game key cards anyways. But look at this. Obviously besides Cyberpunk, which wasn't on that list in Japan, Rune Factory. Again, this one in Japan was a game key card. It is not a game key card here in the United States. Oh, look, Story of Seasons. This, again, is a game key card in Japan. It is not a game key card here in the United States. This is a full physical copy. Oh, look, Daemon Ex Machina, Titanic, Scion. Hey, look at that. And even the limited edition. these are both physical copies that are not game key cards. So as you can see, there's just been a lot of misinformation flying around because people don't want to do their basic research on the day of pre-orders. And I think people are still on this negativity train of wanting to constantly spread negativity because they're actually mad. There's a lot of people mad that Switch 2 had a very chaotic but successful pre-order day and is looking like it's going to set records. We're going to get to a story on that later. But not everything is good in the world of launch games for Nintendo Switch 2. And while we haven't seen this listed anywhere to purchase yet in the United States, we do have some concern. But remember what we just talked about, right? We just talked about how Japan has all game key cards, but yet here, some of those game key card games are actually full physical copies. Well, there's a game out in France that is getting a physical release that actually is our worst nightmare. Nintendo. Looks like Split Fiction Switch 2 physical release is a code in box, but the notice is in French. So this is a French copy of the game, and it says the full game download, see back, game card not included. Obviously, we thought these codes would be dead with game key cards. We talked about how game key cards are technically a better thing, at least, than this. This is the first game we've seen you put a download code in the box. Now, we have not seen this available to pre-order pretty much anywhere else, so we're not sure if this is a France-specific thing or a Europe-specific thing, but then like in Japan, in the United States, Canada, it ends up being an actual physical copy, or maybe this never gets released here and it's only digital only via the eShop. That's entirely possible as well. Remember, this does come from Hazelight Studios. It is very highly regarded, but that is technically like an indie studio, but they get published by EA. And it being published by EA is one of the reasons I'm not really surprised about the download code. Very, very unfortunate. But again, we have to remember what we just learned from Japan. Because it's in a different country, just because that's the way it is there does not mean it is the way it is here in the US. But at this moment, we cannot pre-order Split Fiction in any form in the US, which makes me believe it might be a digital-only game. But, we do the best we can when it comes to stuff like this. But we have some good news to bring you as well. One thing people wanted to know, especially yesterday, was, hey, when can we pre-order the GameCube NSO controller? And there was a rumor going around that it would literally only be available to people who got a Switch 2 pre-order through the wave from Nintendo. So Nintendo, My Nintendo Store, they're going to send out email invites beginning on May 8th for pre-orders from the My Nintendo Store for the Nintendo Switch 2. And if you were one of those people, that you would be able to get the GameCube controller, but nobody else, if you pre-ordered at retail, nobody else would be able to buy it before launch. And it turns out that's not a fact. We're going back to Nintendo. For instance, it says Nintendo GameCube controller pre-order info, May 8th through the 12th. It's available for early Switch 2 purchase access from invitation recipients. So if you were invited to pre-order a Switch 2 through Nintendo, you will then be able to, from May 8th through the 12th, actually be able to go pre-order the NSO GameCube controller. But May 13th, it's open to paid Nintendo Switch Online subscribers. Remember, it is an NSO controller, so that is really cool. It's not available for free trial members, limited to one purchase per Nintendo account, but this means that, yes, they are getting early access if you pre-order through Nintendo. However, on May 13th, all of us with NSO accounts, no matter where you pre-ordered your Switch 2, will be able to pre-order the Nintendo GameCube controller. Now, I suspect this thing's going to sell out, right? We all know wireless GameCube controller, it's going to sell out. People to this day are still trying to get the N64 one that keeps selling out every time it comes to the stock. I hope Nintendo provided more stuff for launch for this one, but we don't know since this is not available at retail. It's only available through Nintendo. But hey, at least we now know that, no, you don't have to pre-order through Nintendo to get a shot to buy this before launch and have it day one. So here's hoping that May 13th it actually lasts online for longer than like 10 seconds. It'd be cool if they would give us a time on when it's available. I got a feeling on May 13th their website may be crashing like everyone else. That being said, we have some other news out there. How about some list of prices for upgrade packs? Now, we generally know the prices for Nintendo upgrade packs. We know the Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom is $10, and all the rest that have like bonus content are $20. But some third parties are doing upgrade packs, and that's what I want to focus on in this listing here. So when we go over to Nintendo Everything here, as we scroll down, we're seeing all these games and their upgrade pack costs. And again, if you bought some third-party games, they're also offering upgrade packs. We have to remember there's actually a bunch of third-party games like Hogwarts Legacy, and sadly we learned about another major game that there's no upgrade pack. You have to rebuy the game. But there are some third parties that are trying to be like Nintendo and give upgrade packs. Sid Meier's Civilization 7. If you own it on Nintendo Switch, you can get the upgrade pack for $9.99. So you don't have to pay full price for it if you already own it. That is amazing. I love that. Same for Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. If you end up having that on Nintendo Switch, you can get the Switch 2 Edition upgrade pack for $10. I'm liking that third parties are going with that $10 price point. I'd love to see Nintendo, maybe put all of them at $10, but I understand DLC costs and everything. But I think that is a really, really good thing. Overall, I feel like I want more third parties to at least offer these upgrade packs. I know that we can't, beggars can't always be choosers, and we can't always get what we want. But this kind of, I just kind of want to show this because, again, Nintendo Switch 2 comes out on June 5th. We already have some evidence of how this works over on the Nintendo eShop on the My Nintendo store. So when we're over here on the official Nintendo website, this is the one in the US, as you can see that, hey, you can buy the Nintendo Switch 2 edition at $70. You can buy the Nintendo Switch edition, which is digital only here, and that is $59.99. Or you can sit here and buy the upgrade pack for $10. Now, that is really cool. This is what we want to see. The system's already set up for this, which is what you want. You don't want people scrambling at launch and have the eShop and the online shop like this, just failing. So that's good. But I did mention that like some third parties are not allowing you to upgrade. They're just selling you what feels like the same game with maybe a resolution and an FPS bump all over again. And it's happening right here. With Sonic X Generations or Shadow Generations. It says won't let you upgrade from the Nintendo Switch to Switch 2. So news comes directly from the official website. A note on one of the pages states a Nintendo Switch version cannot be upgraded to the Nintendo Switch 2 version. And this also applies to DLC. Sega does not, I think they mean note, that save data can be transferred from the Nintendo Switch version of Sonic X Shadow Generations to Switch 2. However, it does not work the other way around, so you can't take save data from the Switch 2 version to the Switch 1. And the file size is going to be about 24 gigabytes. This is very, very unfortunate that they didn't choose to go with the $10 upgrade pack like Civ 7 and Rune Factory is doing. Again, I think that, free updates, obviously, I would prefer more, but I would also really prefer just $10 upgrade packs over having to rebuy the entire game. No, I never bought Civ 7 as an example on Nintendo Switch, so I'm all good paying full price for it on Switch 2, but if I had, man, it would have been nice. Now, we got to get into this next story because you guys remember some rumors. From a long time ago, there was this Chinese content creator who claimed that they were aware of one of the uses of the top USB-C port. And they said, quite definitively, that they knew one of the top uses for the port was going to be for an accessory for a camera. Now, we now know the camera accessory is real, but the one Nintendo released is one that just sits on a table, right? The one that's coming, like the Piranha Plant, well, that can be plugged in the top. It's quite tall, so I don't know if it's as useful in handheld mode, but it technically can do it, but I don't think that's what people were thinking, because they said it would be, a small camera. That small camera has now been revealed by an officially licensed partner, so they are licensed by Nintendo, so this is technically official Nintendo branded, brand new camera for Nintendo Switch 2, and it's right here. This comes from Hori. You see Hori down here. So today, Hori unveiled a brand new camera accessory for Nintendo Switch 2 that's compatible in handheld mode. Game chat's a big feature. Nintendo is promoting for its upcoming platform. With it, you can stream games, playing with friends. On top of that, you can chat while playing. Nintendo has its own camera, and the Piranha Plant one, obviously, we know that's like a 480p. That's where Hori's add-on comes in, because it's not for dot play. It does come with a base, meaning it's compatible with dot mode and tabletop, though. Note the resolution on the camera is lower than the one Nintendo will be selling. I'm actually kind of curious if these official Nintendo products are not allowed to be 1080p, but as you can see here, you can see the tiny module plugged into the top USB-C port or plugged into the base. So again, this is one of those things that I really feel like this kind of confirms that earlier rumor that we had last year from that Chinese content creator. So look, it's always nice to see more and more rumors get confirmed. It turns out a lot of stuff we covered last year was absolutely real. You know what's also real? EA being EA. So as we know, EA publishes Split Fiction, so Code in a Box in France. That's on EA. They're the publisher. But we also know about another game announced for Nintendo Switch 2, and it had a reveal trailer, and that is Madden NFL 26. And here it is, and it's a game key card game. I don't think anyone expected any different, to be completely honest, when it comes to EA. Anywhere they can cut costs, they always will. Very unfortunate. But the game launches on August 14th. Plans for the football franchise on the new console were announced during a Nintendo Direct earlier this month. EA didn't specify if we'd be getting this year's main entry or something else entirely. And here's what the official description says. Dominate the league in EA Sports Madden NFL 26. Years of NFL game data powers next-level coaching, QB authenticity, and explosive gameplay. Every game is a new challenge on your path to becoming an NFL legend. This includes an optional in-game purchase of virtual currency. This gets into ultimate mode and all the other additional modes. I don't really play those when I play Madden. The trailers here, it's kind of a weird trailer because it combines college football 26 and Madden NFL 26 together. Obviously, college football is not coming to Nintendo Switch 2. But anyways, pre-orders are already live. But again, it's a game key card. I'm still waiting to, I don't know if I'm going to buy the Switch 2 version of this. I do play Madden every year, so I usually play it on Xbox. But the reason I consider Switch 2 is if it actually is the current gen version and actually runs well. I might wait for reviews before I fully decide if I want to get it on Switch 2 or if I'd rather get it like I normally do on Xbox. I'm in a Madden league every year. It's a lot of fun. Look, I'm big into NFL. I get it. EA is EA, and I understand that people don't like the way that they treat consumers, but it is what it is. They have exclusive rights to the NFL, and I just have to deal with their BS if I want to enjoy. That being said, how about the pre-orders situation, right? How well are they doing? Set aside, them being sold out, set aside anything. There was an article yesterday estimating 6.6 to 8 million in sales day one. But what about the actual literal truth behind pre-orders now that they are sold out in the US? Well, Bloomberg put up a new article on that, and it says Nintendo Switch 2 keeps up fast pace with US pre-order sell out. All right. Nintendo Company's new Switch 2 console maintained strong momentum towards its summer release by quickly selling out pre-orders among U.S. retailers. Orders for the $450 device, which will be released on June 5th, are no longer available on Walmart, Best Buy, and Target Corp's websites. It's also notable GameStop sold out. However, GameStop put up a statement we're going to talk about that might lead to them being periodically available today. But Nintendo fans reported initial technical hiccups due to the high demand, but many were eventually able to order the system. According to the messages posted on X and other social media sites, Nintendo didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. The strong response in a key market sets the stage for what's expected to be the biggest console launch in history. Concerns about the price, $150 higher than the predecessor, and a gloomy macroeconomic outlook may not have dampened consumer enthusiasm for the long-awaited gadget. At home in Japan, Nintendo said it received 2.2 million applications for its lottery sale on its online store. The Switch 2's launch week sales in Japan are likely to be between 800,000 to 1 million units, Toyo Securities analyst Hideki Yasuda said. I actually think it's going to be a little bit higher than 1 million, so they could set the all-time record in Japan, but we'll see. And then it says that can be translated to around 5 million in the first week globally. That speed is unprecedented. And how unprecedented is it? Well, the current record is the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, who are tied at 4.5 million over 2 months. And they're talking about beating that in the first week. So no matter how you slice it, it's really impressive. As we get down here, it says Nintendo Tokyo trade shares rose as much as 3.3% on Friday, heading for a 3-day winning streak. GameStop Corp, the largest standalone U.S. video game retailer, waited to take pre-orders until around 11 a.m. New York time on Thursday and saw lines form outside its shops. A line began outside one GameStop in Brooklyn, New York, 4 hours before opening. Several customers said they already tried to purchase Switch 2 consoles online but had no luck. The physical ones were more predictable. A sign on the door said 125 units at that particular one. I've actually seen some above 150. Some of these GameStops had a lot of units. Some had a lot less units. It was supposed to average around 100 per store, but that was an average per store. That's not every store has 100. Anyways, I was awake last night trying to get my pre-orders in with Target and Best Buy and Walmart, said Jeremy Gaither, 27. I wasn't able to get it with any of them. My last hope was GameStop. Historically, GameStop has handled between a third and half of new consoles' first few months of hardware sales in the U.S. The retailer is more of a top of mind for gamers than broader retail chains. GameStop appeals to consumers who want to trade in old hardware for cheaper prices on new consoles. And I can talk about that. I witnessed myself. People were bringing in Xboxes because they're offering $420 right now for an Xbox Series X. And I saw people bringing in Nintendo Switch OLEDs. They were offering $175. So they definitely were very, very popular for people to trade in towards their purchase. So I really, really like that. Now, Nintendo did warn about future price hikes on its products in the US are possible. The online marketplace move suggests demand would remain strong, even if that happens. And again, we've seen PlayStation 5 prices rise in other places, and when they have to restock in the US, they'll probably rise in the US as well. But remember I mentioned about how GameStop might have some periodic restocks? Well, this comes from GameStop themselves. So they put up this thing here, and it says Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders have sold out online. We'll continue to squash bot and duplicate orders to reopen inventory. Now, this was posted yesterday, a little bit after pre-orders went live. It said pre-orders are still available in store at some select locations, right? Now, check your local GameStop store for current inventory status and stay tuned for more updates regarding Nintendo Switch 2. Here's the thing. Read that top sentence again. We will continue to squash bot and duplicate orders to reopen inventory. And today, I have witnessed GameStop pre-orders temporarily go up on 5 different occasions. Why? They are squashing bot and duplicate orders. So some of those people that have like things going up on eBay, they might not have those pre-orders anymore because GameStop told them, get the hell out of here. Unfortunately, despite GameStop actually doing a nice pro-consumer move there to reopen pre-orders, not everything at the in-person stuff was going so smoothly. And we have to put some context around this because there were some GameStop managers, unfortunately, only selling Switch 2s if you would buy one of GameStop's weird bundles. I have an image I took of the bundle if you want to check it out. Like the bundles are fine. I don't think there's a problem offering them, but requiring them to purchase a Switch 2 is ballsy. And no, that was not a corporate requirement, but it doesn't mean corporate has their hands clean. So let's go over to X here. So this guy said, F it, we ball. He's in line at GameStop at wherever this location is. Then it says, so this GameStop is forcing you to buy bundles, cases, screen protectors, etc. They're claiming they can't process the SKU just for the console, but we all know what's going on here. Yeah, I know that's bullshit. I went to GameStop and didn't have to do any of that. Anyways, personally, I want Donkey Kong and a screen protector, so it isn't a big deal, but others are leaving. So basically what he's saying is one of the bundles included the ability to get like, hey, you can get Donkey Kong, a screen protector, and like their protection plan, plus a Switch 2. Not a bad bundle. Absolutely. GameStop will be around for probably the next couple of years, so you will be able to use that extended warranty, but it's still one of those that shouldn't be forced upon you. Like they can heavily suggest it, they could try to sell you on it, but they can't require it. And that is where the issue is. So even though it didn't bother this particular person because there was one of the bundles they actually liked, so it wasn't a huge deal, this is bullshit. And it's not shocking if you know about how GameStop corporate has treated their employees, and that trickles down. That trickles down to the managers, then it trickles down to the everyday employees. But as we go down here, you'll see, we are actively investigating this. Any customer who is turned away at the Astoria location should reach out via DM so we can make it right. So what they're trying to say is, hey, if you got turned away while waiting there because you were not willing to buy a bundle, GameStop is trying to do right by them and be like, hey, we're going to try to find some units and make sure you can get that order. But the problem is that this happened at all. And good old Jake Randall, who I keep telling you guys to go to for all your pre-orders, chimed in on this and said something I think was quite brilliant. Here he goes. This starts at the corporate level. You put unbelievable pressure on your employees to upsell and add warranties. Your store employees are the best part of your company, and they deserve to be treated better. That said, what happened at this location is unacceptable, and it's great to see you holding them accountable. But you need to fix the root of the problem to truly solve the issue. So, well, yes, in this particular case, GameStop corporate might step in and help all these people that walked away because they didn't want to buy that bundle. It's still one of those things that's something that starts at the corporate level. The immense pressure to push bundles, the immense pressure to push memberships and used games, that is creating pressure on these managers who tried to use the demand for Switch 2 as an opportunity to bump their numbers to maybe get better bonuses, or how about not having their store close at all? GameStops have been closing for years, so obviously you want to show really good numbers to corporate, and one way to do it is to satisfy them by pushing the bundles. So the pressure comes from the top, and it would be nice to see GameStop change their tune, but unfortunately, that's just not how things go. that being said, that is all the news we have for you today. What a jam-packed video, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. I love you guys. I got to get editing this video. I got to get working on some other stuff, too, behind the scenes for you guys. Obviously, going through that giveaway if you would like to. And as you can see behind me, I got to start my Expedition 33. Catch you guys in the live stream tonight.